is your biggest role model martial arts wise? Personally, one-on-one instructor, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I mean, you know, I think the biggest role model is Bruce Lee. I think he's probably the reason why the majority of people got into martial arts. Is the prowess he showed on screen is bigger than life. I think Bruce Lee is the greatest individual presence ever in anything. It may sound a little demonstrative, or overblown, but even in the music industry, television, video, film, anything, who has accomplished the level in his art that Bruce Lee has? Even when you grasp the way he sounded, the style he brought, there's nobody even close to that in anything. If you talk about Elvis, you can talk about Michael Jackson. You can talk about, several performers who are on a certain level. But when you think about what Bruce Lee, how galvanizing he was, to where the sound he makes is synonymous with all martial arts anywhere you go. Just the sound he makes. There's nobody near that. So, of course, that's the biggest influence, but my influences, I had direct influences, which were my instructors who were virtuous men who lived a life of self-sacrifice and harsh training. Those are my immediate influences. Shigeru Oyama, though he was probably one of the hardest people I've ever met in my life. He was, he was scary, but I existed to please him. He was like the tough dad that you can't impress. He was a big motivator for me. And of course, I had my distant ones that like Bill Wallace and Joe Louis, I started training with Bill Wallace when I was 17 years old. I got a chance to, work with him and learn from him. But I consider myself the luckiest martial artist on the planet because I learned from some of the best in the entire world.
This is going to be segment number 3 for Masters Magazine. This time we're going to take a look and see how we can adapt our Wing Chun trapping hands with the energy of a wrestler and the movements and motions that they're going to use against us, okay? Hector, let me borrow you. So Hector's going to come in with the Paksao, which is the same reference point we're starting with to give you an idea of how to train this, because you have to break it down and do it in a progression. And I'm going to be feeding the different energies. So this time when Hector does the Paksao, I'm going to show you how a wrestler would react to the Paksao, okay? So he goes for the Paksao. See, the wrestler's instantly gonna feel it. So real slow as you see this, see the wrestler's gonna hook like this. He's gonna either come here, he's gonna come 2 hands underneath, or he's gonna go over here. Those are gonna be his natural motions and movements. So we'll do that a little bit at speed so you can see it. Okay, he does the Paksao. See, they're in quick. That's the thing we have to understand. They're not going to stick like a Wing Chun man. They're not going to parry and go back and then hit. They're going to feel and go right in. That's the idea we have to remember. They're also forward pressure art, all right? And one more time. He comes in. Okay, I can come in this way. Or he comes in. I can clear. Say they want to come to the back and take your base. And from here, pick and dump you. So this is the idea of what they're after. If we understand their goal, it will help us a little bit better, okay? So what we're gonna take a look at here is, I'm gonna come in first with the Paksao. He backs off, and as he goes to shoot, this is where I have to come in. You see, I have to go in when he retracts a little bit. I'm gonna use my forearm to jam his neck. That's the most important thing. I can't retreat. If I retreat, I'm going backwards. I'm going backwards. He's got my base in balance. Then there's no way I can apply my Wing Chun. Okay, let's take a look at this again. So as I come, see right here, this is gonna be the first option.
To this day, I mean, out of the thousands and thousands of martial artists I've met around the world, I can honestly say I never met one who I would equate to Bruce relative to a street fight. I don't care how big, what your MMA titles were, whatever. In a street fight, I would always put my money on Bruce. But I only say that because of my experience and memory of Bruce and what he could do. People say, yeah, but he was never in a tournament, he never did this, and give me a break, you know. I tell you, let me spar with you for a minute. If you've been, oh wow, 40 trophies, okay, you should be able to handle me real easy. It's a joke. People don't understand the difference between fighting and games to me is tournaments. Even MMA, it's just a really, really serious game, and it's the closest thing to fighting, so there's a lot of value in MMA kind of competition. I respect that, but it's still not fighting. And Bruce's whole thing that was so amazing was his ability to shut you down. People don't understand what that means. You got two arms, and it's these arms that control the rest of the body. I don't care about kicking or whatever. If you control the arms, you control the feet, you control everything. And Bruce's ability to come in and touch you and totally control you, no matter how strong, how bad, how many black belts you had, was phenomenal. So to me, when I think in terms of martial arts, there are two things about Bruce that stand out. One, his exceptional fighting skill. Two, his creative ability, his ability to understand how to change something, a concept or a technique, into a better concept or technique, by breaking it down and then restructuring it into a better and organized and functional format. However, that's Bruce Lee the fighter. Now we take Bruce Lee the kid, Bruce Lee the guy.